Well, good morning. It's been months since I made a post. Um, as I told y'all before, I'm not really into all of that social media stuff. Plus, I've been on survival mode, still, doing my thing, trying to get out of homelessness that I was placed in due to others, evil, demonic, demented others. But for the most part, I'm grateful. Well, no, it's not for the most part. I am grateful to God, for everything because He's my everything, and He's been with me, the only one that's been with me through this journey, and yeah, He loving on me strong, and I'm loving on Him strong, and that's how it's supposed to be. A lot has happened. I've learned a lot, definitely learned a lot. Um, in the last, I want to say, year and 5 months, I definitely learned a lot about this witchcraft stuff, this new age witchcraft, old age witchcraft, and it's definitely real. And it's not just, I thought it was just happening in certain areas, it's across the world. And it's really sad because these people don't realize the doors they are opening to evil, and they have normalized it, and they just don't realize that if they don't hurry up and repent, because God is showing the signs that He ain't playing with y'all. Well, that He ain't playing with people. And yeah, they're gonna see hell big time. This is not nothing new. I've been saying or whatever. I've been advocating it for a while now. This is why I buckled down, and I'm not perfect. Never said I was. I don't dot every I and cross every T, but the Lord knows my heart. My heart is always in a good place. Um, I'm definitely not out here doing what a lot of people doing now. And they led by money, greed, jealousy, and of course, I've come across a lot of that in the last couple of in the last, I want to say, almost 2 years since all this stuff went down, and I'm slowly but surely finding out. Who the players are. It's a bunch of people too, professional people, even some superstars, honey. Um, that's involved in this big conspiracy against little old me, Octavia. Who would have thought that I was that powerful and that important? But yeah, they fixed my page. My page not closed off where you can't find me no more and all that. And that's because I put a few posts on Facebook, because I've been posting on Facebook since they had me on lockdown on here on YouTube. So nobody couldn't see my story, the story that I was telling, because they don't want the world to know how corrupt and evil it is and how deep this really goes. And it's not that I was even trying to expose these people for real. I was trying to just live my life, man, get my life back. But they all set out on a mission to try to destroy me because I didn't. They on blast. I ain't gonna say me. God just used. I'm just a vessel. God used me to put them and expose some things that's been going on for years now, as far as these cults and the rituals and disappearances of children and the various agencies that's been helping these people. And they upset with me. Like, I got all this power and this, that, and other. It ain't me, baby. It's the Lord. But they refuse to recognize God because they know they in the wrong. They know they wicked. They know they devilish. They know they evil. And so they gotta lash out on somebody. So they all want to team up and come against little old me and blame me for their downfall. Well, first of all, if you wouldn't have never targeted me, trying to cover up for some uh, corrupt real estate agent and some law officials, if they wouldn't have never targeted me in the first place, none of this wouldn't have happened. Then you got the baby daddies involved and all that. And that's what I really came on here today to talk about, to put out there some back history of some of the main players that I know. Because it's a lot of people that's involved that I don't personally know. It's people that's been paid, people like higher up officials, judges and lawyers and all this other kind of stuff that's been added onto all of this. They've been paid by different individuals, specifically these Masons and the police and all that, or whatever, whatever. You know, that's a whole mess in itself. But I'm going to talk about the people that I know, what their motive is, and the reason why they upset, and they went along with this little plot against poor little old me, I tell you. Okay, and I first want to start off with these supposed to be parents of mine. Now, the God says that we got to forgive people. Everybody that's involved, I just putting out there, I forgive you, because guess what? I'm not going to let y'all hinder me from going to heaven in my relationship with the Lord. So you forgiven. But just because I forgive you don't mean that I got to deal with you. And trust and believe that is cut. I want nothing to do with near one of y'all ever in life again. When all this is said and done and over with, don't ever reach out to me. Don't. It's done. You're forgiven. I don't want your apologies or none of that, because you know you're wrong. The Lord know you're wrong. Heaven knows you're wrong. You know you're wrong. The people that's working with you, y'all all know y'all wrong. But guess what? It don't matter. You ain't gotta acknowledge it. God gonna make you acknowledge it. He everything that's happening, the Lord is doing it. I swear I ain't got no hand in nothing. My God is doing it. All I'm doing is praying, and I'm going to keep on praying, because that's what I'm supposed to do. Even through all your little witchcraft attacks and you're teaming up, trying to get me into the shelters, and got all these people in the shelters that's practicing witchcraft. I mean, heavy, dark witchcraft is craft, like black magic and stuff. They've been doing some heavy stuff, baby. And the only reason why I'm standing here and able to talk to y'all today is because of the Lord. Even if you're not a believer, if I could tell you the amount of witchcraft these people been sending to me, this dark stuff, they've been going to like overseas getting people to do some dark stuff, baby. And let me tell you, it would work if I wasn't covered by the blood of Jesus, if God wasn't with me and angels wasn't with me. See, unbelievers and people who eyes aren't woken yet, they can't see these angels that's consistently covered around me. They gonna see the hand of God on my life. But trust me, I'm a living witness. God is definitely real, honey. Even with me, if any time I ever had a doubt with going through everything that I've been going through, that God wasn't real or that it wasn't a God, let me tell you, the stuff that I recently, like in these last months since I moved to Washington, since I came here, let me tell you something. Some real deep, evil, demented, crazy people. And these people, they out here creating this scenario, smear campaigns and all this, trying to paint me out to be crazy and all this other kind of stuff, right? Well, it takes somebody that's crazy. Now, you tell me who's crazy. Let me go on this before I go into the different people that I know that's why they got involved. It takes a crazy person to sit up and create this whole plotting scenario, right? You gonna come after me. You supposed to be family. I got children by you. That's one. We share the same blood. That's two. Different, I'm just summing it up for the different people that's involved, right? It takes a crazy person to sit there and hate your own blood, your own person that you laid down with without a condom that much. You hate me that much to want me dead, to plot and get life insurance policies out and go through all this different whole scenario, because at first I was thinking, well, maybe this agent and the authorities, they threatened them, giving my family and these sorry baby daddies from the beginning the benefit of the doubt, thinking, well, maybe they threatened them or something, or forced them, because you see this on TV all the time. That kind of stuff go on. That corruption go on. But now that I think about different scenarios and different little conversations that was had and the things that's been going on consistently, nah, these niggas, they got their own particular reasons, different reasons why they, I guess, joined up with the foes, the enemies, and the corruption, the corrupts, and when they all going so hard against little old me. And part of it is, for one, that I do have a calling on my life, and I had one ever since I was a child. My gifts I've been had these gifts, and I had to think about it and put timelines together because I did used to have dreams way before all this stuff, catching my brother doing witchcraft on me and all this stuff that just recently happened in the last 2 years. Um, and you can even go back and say 5 years. I did used to get dreams, but I just threw them off as dreams. I never felt like I was gifted. I always knew that I always did feel like I was an outsider. I never had a lot of friends. Um, I always, was isolated per se, I gotta say, even as a child, a little girl. Now that I'm, you know, more in tune and I got more information and I know more about what I'm going through, I always had a calling on my life. That's what it was. I believe these so-called parents of mine and other family members knew that I had a calling on my life. Um, but for whatever reason, they never told me, sat down and whatever. Because I even remember little things being a child, you know, um, one particular incident that I was telling my kids about is on my birthday. That night, I had seen, I guess, an entity in my bed that night, and it had. It's a long story. I don't want to go into it because I don't want to get a devil. Just basically what I'm trying to say is that I always had a calling on my life, but it never dawned on to me. You know what I'm saying? That I had a calling on my life, that I was destined to, you know, do the work of God or whatever the case may be. I do, know that I always was drawn to, like, church and gospel music and stuff like that. But I just never thought that it would be to this capacity, that it is. But apparently, the devil knew, and his little imps and monkeys knew, and some of my family members knew too. But they didn't want me to know. But it's all good. It doesn't matter because if God used a burning bush to get his work done, one way or another, I was going to find out what my, calling was, what my destiny or whatever it was. So anyway, so anyway, spiritual warfare, it ain't been easy. I'm gonna tell you that. It's been hard, but with God in the heavens, everything is made easy. If it wasn't for me having Him, I wouldn't be able to be here in my right mind. That's for sure. Because these demonic, demonized idiots been doing all kind of stuff. I mean, trying to send entities towards me. I mean, the things that I've experienced definitely over the last few months. Let me tell you, it's supernatural stuff. The stuff that you will only see on movies that you read about. Man, that stuff is real. And I always used to joke around with my kids and tell my kids, all these movies we watching, it's some kind of truth to that. Because I'm not saying people dumb and they can't have a smart mind to create those kind of movies and scenarios. But I told them, and this is proof. What I'm going through, I've witnessed it. It's proof. A lot of this stuff that they are putting on TV, like the TV shows and the movies, that stuff is some truth to it. Either it happened or they gonna make it happen or they predicting it to happen. But let me not go into that because then that'll open up a whole nother thing. But anyway, um, I'm basically saying all that to say is that I've learned a lot over the last, it's almost going on 2 years now. Time is flying too. I've learned a lot. I mean, a lot about these wicked people that really exist and the type of things that they do and the stories that we used to hear back in the day, but then we tune it out, don't listen. The stuff that we see about the corruption within the government system and all that. You like, man, that stuff don't happen, man. That stuff do happen. It's some truth to everything. Um, but you have to be awakened in order to see it. I'm basically is what I'm saying because it's a lot of people that's walking around eyes wide shut and don't realize what's going on around them because they too focused on other things. Man, I just learned a lot. I mean, a whole lot. Um, and a lot was confirmed, but for the most part, I've been, you know, because I've been to a couple of other states before I came here. And I came here thinking I was gonna get away from all that stuff, man. It's spiritual warfare that I'm in. So it's everywhere that I go, I'm gonna experience some type of opposition because I choose to be on the Lord's side. And guess what? I'm not never changing my plan. I'm gonna stay on the Lord's side because we're in the last days and I'm trying to go to heaven. And I'm not gonna let nobody send me to hell when I lived hell on earth. That doesn't make sense. I ain't had no easy life. I've been through some stuff, but the way that these demonized people and these other people that's looking at me from the outside that only heard the one side of the story, um, they look at me like I'm some kind of privileged person and this that nigga. I struggle, even trying to do the right thing, even being on welfare. I would make sure I do everything these people ask me to do, and they will always still find a way to cut my benefits off or make things, bad for me. And the reason I'm bringing that up because my ops, all the people that's hating on me, they like to keep bringing that up. They try at first. That's what they were saying. Oh, she a bum. She want to live off the system. She living off her children. And this, that, and the other, trying to make it seem like I just didn't want to work. And I'm like one of them. Those people do exist, but I'm not her. For one, I ain't never had the support system that I needed. That's number one. So I had to stay home with my children until either they gave me vouchers or whatever. But don't get it twisted. I always been a go-getter. I always went and did the things that I had to do for me and them children. They was taken care of. Again, I don't dot every I, cross every T. I made several mistakes, and a whole bunch of them was the niggas that I laid down and had kids by. They wasn't even worth my time. If I sit back and I look at all of them now, bums, every last one of them. I don't mean no harm, and they never took care of them children. They want to portray to y'all and this little cult that the two of them are involved with, and some of my family members involved with, want to portray to y'all like they was upstanding fathers. No, they weren't there. The main one, he asked me to have my son, and then when I had my son, he disappeared because he's mentally ill. And because he's mentally ill, he want to try to put out here, along with the help of these other don't the other monkeys and imps, like something is I'm mentally ill. Ain't nothing mentally ill about me. You would I would think it was though, cause I should have been came to my senses. They all of them was never worth my time. Never was worth my time. I was too good to be with any of them or to sleep with any of them either. So anyway, they never took care of those kids. I struggled to take care of those kids by myself with the help of the government. Yes, I did get a food stamp. Yes, I did get a check. And they upset and they mad because they didn't want to go to child support. But they never once said, well, here's money to take care of the child. They ain't just offer no money to help. They thought I was just supposed to the kids are just supposed to survive on their own. I'm supposed to survive. How? Even with working, having the amount of children that I had, how would that have been enough to pay rent, the electric bill? They still needed formula, diapers, pampers, shoes, clothes, stuff for school. See, when these niggas so worried about child support and this, that, and the other, y'all don't think about that. Especially when you're not involved with the mother and you're not dealing in a relationship with the mother. You don't think about that she still got to deal with all of that. And that stuff ain't cheap. They used to have little signs up in commercials that talk about how much a child costs. Oh, you thought they just was making that up? That was dead serious. So why wouldn't I go get the help from the government to help me feed these children, the food stamps, the WIC? And a part of their requirement for getting their assistance in medical. Let's not talk about medical alone. So, okay, just to please you, your bum tail that wasn't helping or willing to give me no money towards taking care of these children. What about the medical? Because the first year of a child's life, they stay at the hospital. They gotta go to the hospital. They need shots. They got 6-month checkup, 3-month checkup, this, that, and the other. Okay, who was gonna pay them bills? Right. So therefore, yes, I went and got the help that I needed to help me take care of these children. And even after getting that help, and then they making all this big thing about child support. They never, still didn't never take care of the children. They still ain't never paid not one child support bill. Not one. Not one. Maybe a few, I think a few payments, especially the youngest boy, father, ain't paid child support yet. He's in arrears. But his little coat, or they know people and he know people, and this baby mama that he cheated on me with and all that, she got family members that work in there, so they fixed it up to where as though, they got it, they got the case closed, so he don't have to pay child support, but he still have that arrears or whatever, some kind of way they fixed it up. That's what happened when you with cults that's known. You can get certain things done, and this is why they've been able to do what they've been doing from state to state, putting bad names out on me and all of that to get people to go against me, getting me gang stalked everywhere I move to, and all this because of this cult, because it's a famous cult. But none of that matters to me. They don't matter to me. The only thing that matters to me is the Lord. They ain't bigger than God, and that's what they mad about. And that's why another thing they was trying to attack my faith in God. Keep trying to send entities my way and doing this and doing that. Man, you can't get me to renounce God. When I made that pledge to God, I gave God my soul and my everything back at my daughter's house a year ago, and I meant what I said, and I stand on it. You can send as many witches to do as much witchcraft as you want. You can't change that. That's embedded in the grave with God. Between me and God is embedded. Just like y'all sold y'all soul to the Satan. My soul is with the Lord. So you can't change that. That's why all of those stupid stuff they done trying to send their little cult members, the younger ones, the ones that they recruiting my way to do magic, to try to you get me to do certain type of sins and all this. For instance, one where they sent this dude my way or whatever, doing magic and all that to get me to sleep with him and all that or whatever. They thought that was going God was going to snatch his grace and mercy and stuff away from me because of that. No, because he see what y'all doing, dummies. He see that y'all doing witchcraft and that your whole little plot. God saw what you did. He saw what you did. That's what they fail to realize. See, they don't know the word of the Lord because I guess they got their own little devilish Bible that they use, because some of them try to act like they know God too, and they don't know nothing about a God. But so like I said, if they read the word, they will see that in the word. God ain't gonna condemn me when you judge me, because he saw what you doing. He saw you manipulating the situation. I have to willingly, on my own, not being manipulated by witchcraft and all spells and all that kind of stuff, commit a sin. Dummies. But anyway, um, let me get into um the different people that I know that's involved and why. What is their motive? Again, the baby daddies. Now, everybody in Baltimore City know that they get around. First and foremost, they got multiple children, and they never took care of none of them children, none of them. But the youngest one's father, uh, baby mamas, they had a good support system and good jobs. I'm not hating on them. Good for them. You know what I'm saying? But don't compare me to them. They didn't have to take you to child support, but I did. And we didn't even have a court date because he ran for years until a couple of years ago. He didn't even have to start paying child support. My son 18 now. He just turned 18 yesterday. He didn't even have to pay child support until the 2022 we went to court, and this nigga, you going all hard because of, but that ain't the only reason why. Let's rewind back before I relocated to Florida. So this is around 2013, 2014. After being in a narcissistic abusive relationship with him, had to live with him because my place burned down, or whatever. And I'm not going deep into it. I'm just going to scratch on it a little bit. So he was cheating with this other baby mother. the whole time he was with me, when all he had to do was just be with her. Plain and simple as that. And I would have went about my business, but he playing games, think he a Mac and all this other kind of stuff, like he all of that, and he ain't mentally ill. And so he was cheating with her, and she knew about it. So she's not innocent either. That's why I don't like her. And me and her, we got this. While we had this tension, I could care less about him or her now. But it was a lot of tension going on, and I ain't gonna lie, because I saw it when he left me with this child and we kept ducking child support. I was looking for him and his family because I didn't know much about them. I only knew him through his brother. So his other family, like sisters and stuff, I did not meet them or anything like that. Um, Only way I was able to try to go find some of them is because his brother used to mess with my sister. That's how me and him got together. But so she told me where certain family members used to live when they was messing with each other. So I went looking for him, and they ain't know where he was at and all this other kind of stuff. So I went online, start looking for him or whatever, looking up their names and all that. And so I came across their court case. I knew about the wife, and he had the children with her, the three daughters with her. I knew about the other two children that he had with the woman that he cheated on the wife with. I didn't know anything about this other little girl. This girl, I'm not gonna say their names. I didn't know about this other little girl until I did my research. So I look up the mother. I didn't call her on no disrespectful stuff. Start talking to her about me. And she tried to act. I'm not saying we built the friendship or nothing, but she tried to act like she was cool with me and she was over him and all this and all this. To cut a long story short, she's a hoe. She um she knew me and him, we got back together years later after I finally found him and all that. And then we all had to go to court because I was telling her, she was like, well, my daughter, she don't know him as a father. She got a father, which was one of her other children's baby, children's father. So I was like, that's all well and fine, but it's not fair. Your daughter need to know her siblings. Your daughter, because that's the type of woman that I am. People, he thought it wasn't my place, and it probably wasn't my place, but that's the type of woman that I am. Yeah, I don't believe in all of that bull crap. Oh, as long as he take care of my baby type stuff. I don't believe in that. So I was like, well, your daughter, she need to know her other siblings. And that's what I kept telling him. You know, all your children need to know each other. Oh, you need to mind your business and this, that, and other. I see why he never wanted to get them together, because he was a bum. He never took care of none of them. At first, I was under the impression that he took care of the girls, the wife's children. But come to find out, he wasn't taking care of none of the kids, from what the daughter told me. I don't know. I don't care. I ain't worried about none of them at this point. But I'm just going through this to give y'all a little bit of background about the animosity that this nigga got, why he decided to go and jump in a cult, and him and his little connective cult, you know, they going so hard. I want y'all to know this. This need to be on record. So anyway, to cut a long story short, like I said, she knew me and him was back with messing with each other because we went to court and all this. But he was still sleeping with her, and she was still a willing participant. I don't like women like that. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm innocent. When I was younger, when I was a teen, yes, I did. I didn't mess with brothers before. I didn't mess with even other women's men before, knowing that they had knowing that they had people. So what goes around do come back around, baby. So that's why I can't really that's why afterwards I had to really sit back and think about everything. Like, you just getting back what you did. So you might as well stop being upset about it or whatever and let it go. And which I did years ago. So anyway, um, but I didn't like her because of that. Because she knew me and him was together. While I'm at work, he's over there sleeping with her. And yeah, I got a problem with that. And she would call multiple times during the day while I would be, even when I'm off of work, and he would try to act like it wasn't her and all this. Come on, baby. Even my intuition was popping back then. But I always, that's why I said I always had my gifts, but I always downplayed my gifts for like niggas like him. Because he kept saying, I ain't doing this and I ain't doing that. And he kind of was good at hiding things and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, to cut a long story short, I had a gift. My gift was popping in, so I knew something was going on. Had dreams. God showed me in a dream before I even decided to get back with him that he was going to cheat with her. He showed. God showed me. That's what I'm saying. I've been had these gifts, but I didn't think that that's what these dreams was. They was a gift. I'm just thinking I'm just dreaming. So anyway, cut a long story short, that's why me and her had an extreme. I never liked her. That's why, because I'm like, she know me and him together, and you still sleeping with him, but you don't care. She's that type of woman. So anyway, fast forward to all of that. So I had to take him to child support because they made me do it when I started over again when I left Virginia and moved back to Maryland because of the situation with the crooked agent cops or whatever. And I moved back to Maryland. They made me take him back, but they told me years ago when I first tried to take him that because he was receiving SSI at the time that we would never have to go back to court again about that situation because they basically closed it because he was receiving SSI. But when I moved back after living in Virginia, that whole situation, they made me for some reason, which I thought was strange. I said, well, y'all told me that I never had to go through this child support thing with him again because he was receiving SSI. She was like, well, he's not receiving it no more, so you had to go. So they made us go and all this other kind of stuff. I didn't want nothing to do with him. I dropped my son off to my mom's house and that we can connect like that. I don't have to have nothing to do with you. So he kept on slowly but surely pressing it, trying to hold little conversations with me and kept saying, I never cheated on you like I'm dumb. Nigga, you did cheat on me. No, I know what I felt and I know what I saw. You did. I didn't catch you, but I know you did. You did. So anyway, that was kind of like a part of the reason. So anyway, no, let me go back. So before I moved to Florida, he was cheating with her and everything. And um, I kept trying to catch him or whatever, but I couldn't catch him at our house because they was hooking up at a hotel. Come to find out the same way that he was doing with the wife he with now, which I had proof because when he came back this second time about 2 years ago, playing like he wanted to be with me and him, and the wife was having problems. Yeah, I had all his cell phones there. He left them there. All his burner phones. Yeah, he was communicating with her through them burner phones. The wife ain't know about them. And yeah, I saw um a written contract between him and the wife when I can't move back up there. So she knew that he was going to do everything he did. Come and play like he wanted to be back with me and all this. It was all a part. She's a part of this plot of everything that's going on. They had a written contract that they would split and separate for a year. Yeah, I seen it in the phone, and I know they be lurking on here. So yeah, I saw your contract, baby, between you and her. Oh, and I saw your sex tape too. But that ain't none of my business either. But anyway, so anyway, to cut a long story short, me and this girl, I kept showing up at her house. So I did go to her house and to try to approach her one night. She wasn't there. Her kids was there. I never even went on this woman porch, but she she got family that worked in police and stuff too. Because one of her crooked family members, the same one that gave her got her the peace order on me and all that, is the same one that's working with the cult too. Yeah, uh-huh. So anyway, she lied. In this order, they said that I went up there and I ripped off her window. I did all this stuff, damage to her property and all this, which was a lie. I took my daughter with me and I had a homegirl with me, if I'm not mistaken, when the day that I went up there. I didn't even go up on this woman porch. I stood outside of the house and then I hear her up and was like, I'm outside now. Come outside. So her children was there. So she lied and all this to get a peace order. She had a cousin do all this lying and all this stuff to get a peace order. And she was able to get her peace order. So I'm mad at him because I'm like, all this is stemming from you. Because if you want to be with this bear, be with her and leave me alone. That's all you got to do. But keep going back and forth and playing your little childish games and all this or whatever the case may be. I don't appreciate it, but he's a narcissist. So that's what narcissists do. They play a lot of manipulative games. So He so by her doing that, and then I know for a fact he gave her the information, both my address and my job information. She didn't know where I worked at. He tried to lie and say that she got the job information from the cousin that's a police. Ain't no way your cousin can get that information because, for one, I was working through an agency at this particular job. So how would the cousin get that particular job and not the agency information? That's number one. So when you work in the medical field, you can't have any kind of get nothing far as no kind of arrest or whatever because you quick to lose your job. So her goal and his goal was to try to get me to lose my job, and which he been was doing because he was jealous. He been was doing that even when I was living with him, and before I had to move out or whatever because things just got real bad between me and him because we kept fighting. He Ben was trying to cause me to lose my job. Would come pick me up when my car got in an accident because of him. My car kept and I didn't have a car, kept coming to pick me up late or taking me to work really late and all kind of crazy mess like that. He was trying to cause me to lose that job, but God let me sustain that even though I had lost everything else, the house. And speaking of that, throughout this stuff in the last couple of months or whatever, I've learned that he's a warlock. And he will all this is why him and the other baby father would always come around the same time, back around like every 2 to 3 years or whatever. They knew because they're older than me. So they knew, and then they into this cult. So they knew what I bought, the gifts that I bought, that I bear. They knew. And I will always wonder every time they start coming back around, I'm doing good. My life going good. I ain't saying it was the perfect, but it's doing good. I'm doing good. But then when they come around, I start losing stuff, especially this youngest son, Pop. I start losing stuff again because he was stealing my virtue, stealing my blessings. Yeah. Uh-huh. I'm learning about all this now. So anyway, I don't want this is not why I'm trying to go ahead. I'm just trying to paint a picture why certain people decided they want to jump in on this train. So anyway, he to cut a long story short, since and at that time, I ain't gonna lie, I was not who I am today. I was that I'm gonna get you back type sister back then. So since he did that and got a peace order out and called himself trying to embarrass me and teaming up with her with something that was his fault, I put an anonymous keyword anonymous tipping to the police about his drug dealing activities. Well, because at the time his brother was going through the initiation with this cult, um, they used the same cult that I got a problem with. They used them to get them out of to get who told, who snitched basically in um I guess the connection with the police and all that, because they got connections with police and all this other kind of stuff. I ain't trying to make them sound like they big in that because they ain't nothing, especially when it comes to God. But that's how he knew that it was me, and which was a violation, and I could still press charges against and sue that police station because they weren't supposed to tell. It was anonymous. You wasn't supposed to tell who sent you the email. So anyway, he got in trouble behind that because they did, he was in some stuff. So that's his main goal for getting me back because, see, one thing about it, two things for sure, he ain't never had to do no time in jail. And this time he did. He did a little bit of time. He got locked up or whatever. So he had still had animosity towards me behind that situation. And from what I hear, I'm not really sure. From what I hear, it was like a whole big thing because I thought he was his own boss, because that's how he portrayed it to me. Come to find out, I guess they were working for somebody else. So therefore it caused like this big ripple effect and everything. But they were already the whole situation was already under investigation anyway. They had already picked up some people. But I guess, he had something major must have went down or whatever. And he even said it when he came 2 years ago, 3 years ago, however ago it was back in 2022, when he was faking like him and the wife had issues and all that when he was on his revenge plot. He even said that he had got into it with some people. I guess the people he owed the money to about me, you know, getting them in trouble or whatever. But my whole thing is yes, I was petty. I'm not saying that I was right, but at the same time, you was wrong too. You should have never gave that girl my job information to get me fired from my job, and knowing that that's how I'm supposed to take care of my children. With that, also that's another thing. So when I moved from his house, his brother's house, because he was living with his brother and his brother girlfriend or whatever, they ended up telling me I had to leave because we kept fighting and all this stuff, right? Um, so I had gotten back into my own place or whatever. And let's get the it's so long. It's this I don't want to go into deep detail about why we was there, but we was there because my house caught on fire. And I did get another voucher, but by me working full time, I didn't have the time to really look for a place. The only time I really had the time was on weekends. On weekends, of course, most of the realtors are closed and stuff. So I didn't really have time. And instead of him helping me, he was out doing illegal stuff. Let's put it like that. So it took me a while to get a place without having to take off work. And I didn't want to take off work because I took off work a whole month was out of work. They was okay with it because of the house fire. I didn't want to like consistently keep, and then him taking me to work late and all this other kind of stuff. Like he was trying to cause me to lose that job, and I wanted my job because I liked my job. So um, that's just a little bit of information. Like I said, he that's a part of the reason. That's why me and him he got a vendetta against me. And this cult is that's mainly after me with all these connections and all this, and the ones that can get me gang stalked, and the connections with the police and this that, and other. That's his doing. That's his doing. And it's because of that right there, that little situation right there. Now as far as the family members, let's see, my father and his wife. Okay, so when I first had to leave Virginia because of the stuff with dad or whatever, and let me be clear, him and my father still remained cool even after I left town. So he was in on the plot too. All these people knew what he had planned. They was a part of the plot. I think it's a lot of people that's involved, but I don't think everybody was in on it right then and there. But they were added into it because he made it seem like whatever he made it seem like or whatever. I don't know. I don't care. I don't even care about none of these people. I'm just putting this out here, because I told y'all the part about the crooked agents from Virginia, but I didn't go into detail about all the other ones, and I want this to be documented. So that's why he all right, so let's go to these supposed to be parents of mine. Now, me and my mother always had an estranged relationship. From what I was told by various family members, she's always been jealous of me ever since I was born. They said she was jealous of me and my father's relationship because I guess I was a daddy's girl back then. I don't know. I don't care. This is what I heard from other family members, but we always had a strange relationship. We've been in fights and all kind of stuff, and she always showed favoritism to her daughter and her son. Um, you know, that it is what it is. So back to this father and his wife. So moving when we went and stayed before I found my place in Montgomery County. We went to stay with this father and his wife. My father and his wife. And everything was cool. Me, I'm the type of female, and they can probably lie and say this and say that. I don't care. I'm not in the proving nothing to nobody. But they know, and the people that know me know. They if I stay with somebody, even if I'm not working and I wasn't working at that time, if I come into some money or I got some kind of money, I'm gonna pay my way. eating, or if I'm getting some food stamps or something, or I'm gonna give you some food stamps to contribute to food or something. I'm not gonna stay with nobody for free. And I learned that a long time ago when I was a teenager, being put out. Me and my mother, like I said, we always had an estranged relationship, being put out, and then you gotta go live with this one, don't live with that one, and people just weird. People just weird. So I learned that you gotta pay your way something. Give them something, even if they say no. Give them something. That way they can't try to throw it up in your face later. So that's the type of person I am. So I went and stayed with them. I wasn't working, but I think I was getting I had got some school checks and stuff coming in or whatever. And because I was doing school. I was in school. I had got some school checks and I had some money coming, yeah, something else, some other kind of money. I don't know if I went back on DSS and got a check. I can't remember. But and I also had the food stamps. So let's remind you, I'm giving his wife $200 every month for us to stay there. $200 ain't a lot, but okay. They live in Section 8. So okay. But that's not none of my business. That's never here there. I get them $200, and I'm also offering food to buy them. I go get me and my kids, like, they trying to act bougie. They don't eat off brand food. They gotta have name brand food. And this, me and my kids, we eat off brand food. So I go to Save a Lot and stuff like that or whatever to buy off brand food. They bougie. They don't eat off brand food. So okay, but I still let them, I go get me and cause my kids come first. I go get what me and my kids want to eat and drink, and then I let them go to the market and get what they want. They go to Giants. Giants is a high price store. It's high, but they go to Giants. So they go to Giants, get what they want or whatever the case may be, and that's that. What I started noticing, and both of them are addicts or ex addicts. I don't know if they still get high or not. I don't know. I don't care, but they are ex addicts. So, the things about addicts, they always have that addict mentality. I hate to say it. Some people gonna get mad about me saying it, but they always got that addict mentality. So, um, I noticed they weren't just eating their food; they were eating the food that I was buying for the stuff that me and my kids ate. I'm sitting there thinking, like, that's greedy and that's selfish, because you say you don't like off-brand food, you don't drink off-brand drinks. You gotta have special this and special that. But you making it your business to eat and drink what me and my kids, what I'm buying for my children. And I don't appreciate that, because you taking out their mouth. And it's not like we stand here for free in one small room. All three of us crammed in there. I'm giving her $200. I don't know if she told him about it or not, but I'm giving her $200, and I'm letting y'all buy the foods and stuff that y'all want. No, I had a problem with that. So that became a big problem. Then on top of that, it's like the same thing with him. My car kept acting up. I think they was tampering with my car then. And my car kept acting up and stuff. So I would ask him, can he take me to go look at places, because I'm trying to find places. He always had an excuse. Oh, it's supposed to rain. And like, he just was trying to keep me trapped there, wasn't trying to help me. So I started doing things on my own, as I always do. I don't sit around wait for nobody to do nothing for me. And that's why. And so basically, him and his wife got mad and got an attitude, because I went back and I was talking to my mother, and I talked to a cousin that I used to be cool with about the situation. I was like, I don't appreciate, like, I'm giving them money, extra money. That's extra money for them. That's 200 extra, you know, still take care of your bills and stuff, and buy your food and stuff like you was doing before I moved here. Don't try to, switch up, because I'm there, like that user activity. I don't like that kind of stuff when people try to use you. And that's how I felt. And then you eating up my children's stuff. Y'all say y'all don't like that. So what's the point of me letting y'all get with the things that y'all want if you gonna still be trying to eat the same thing, eat what we eating too? That bothered me. So before getting in a confrontation, I try to eliminate all of that, because I don't like all that mess unless I have to. Now, if I gotta deal with it, then I'm gonna deal with it. But so I leave and go stay at the hotel, because my money came through right on time too. So I said yes. I rolled out, and I didn't tell them nothing, because I'm coming to you asking you to help me, and you always got an excuse why you can't Take me here. You always got an excuse why you can't do this and do that, and you're doing nothing but sitting in the house all day. So that irritated me. So that's why him and her got a little thing, because I guess somebody went back and told them what I said. But I could tell them what I said to their face. I don't have to bite my tongue. All you had to do was come ask me, and I would have told you what I said. Who are you for me to be scared of? I'm gonna respect you as my elders and as my parent. But yeah, I don't have no problem telling you, nobody, how I feel. But at the time, I used to have a hard time. Like, if something bothering me, I have a hard time being. I'm not fake. I don't know how to be fake. So I'd rather leave the situation until I can calm down and then talk to you later. That's the type of person that I am, and that's what I did. So I guess they got offended by that, or whatever the case may be. We stopped speaking to each other and all this until I had to come back this go round, and that's when they was trying to kill me and all this, and putting poison in my food and all that. Now let's go to the other players that's involved. Now, my supposed to be mom and her children. Well, her son, which supposed to be my brother, has a thing with me because, okay, a few years ago, I think around 2011 or something like that, before I moved from where I lived at. For one, where I lived at, you weren't supposed to have nobody staying there, but I took a risk by letting them come stay there. And second of all, I was fighting to get my kids back at that time too. I just got my children back and everything. I didn't want no extra people in there. She lost her home. And the reason behind her losing her home, she didn't pay her mortgage. She didn't pay her mortgage for various reasons. For one, her son used to steal from her money, and she used to spend it up just buying food and living like she didn't have a mortgage to pay or bills to pay. But okay, that ain't never here there. That's her business. So when she lost her home, I told her she could come stay with me because she said she was having a hard time finding a place because she owed gas and electric. I said, "Oh, you could come stay with me." It's not a secret. I told her she could come stay with me to pay her electric off. She didn't have to give me nothing, just pay her electric off so she can move and get a place. Because I know we don't do well living in the same dwelling. Again, we still have an estranged relationship. But that's my mother, so I let her come stay with me. I let her come stay with me. At this point, I think my youngest, he was still a baby, and my two youngest, who was with my aunt, I got them two back. The twins were still staying with their father or whatever. I got my two youngest back, and then I had just had my youngest son. So okay, you got three grandchildren in the house. She don't interact with none of them. She always had favoritism. That's another thing with her daughter's child, her daughter's children versus my children. So anyway, she you in a house with three grandchildren. School time, she never wanted to babysit. She worked and everything. I give it to her, but she worked, get off work, and go fly to her daughter's house or whatever. Her daughter was sharing a house with her daughter's cousin, with her nephew. So anyway, she would go fly there because I asked her one time because she watched them while I go to work. Okay, she wouldn't do it. She said no. She had all these excuses, but you can go sit at your daughter's house and watch your other grandchild. Okay, cool. I ain't gonna beg you to do nothing. I ain't gonna beg nobody to do nothing for me or my children. I'm just gonna go do what I gotta do. And which that's how I always been. Again, I always been the black sheep. It's nothing new. So me not having a relationship or dealing with none of them now, it does not even matter to me because all my life I had to deal with this type of stuff, favoritism and all that, or whatever the case may be. I used to care about it back then. I don't care about it now. So okay, so school time come around. She know I needed help with these kids' school clothes and stuff. Do you think she helped? She didn't help. She tried to sneak and go buy her granddaughter, her daughter's daughter, some school stuff. She didn't sneak, she did. But when she came, she had to stop back at the house. They stopped back at the house for whatever. She hid the bags. You know how I found out? The granddaughter came and told me, "Hey, auntie, yeah, me and grandma just came from shopping, this, that, and other." So I'm sitting there like, "Oh, okay." Do you know she living with me for free? She already been there longer than when she was supposed to be there. And you couldn't help me. You in a house with 3 grandchildren. You can never offer no, you can't watch them or none of that. You know I need help, and I've been telling you I'm struggling to get that school stuff together. You ain't offered to help me, but you tried to hide it like that, being sneaky type stuff. That didn't sit right with me. Then on top of that, I had a conversation with my father not that long ago before that, so I wasn't gonna say nothing to him, but he told me that him and her was talking, and one time, and she told him, "I ain't going nowhere. I'm gonna stay here and live off her and all this," and told me that. So when he told me that, I'm like, she ain't gonna stay there and live off of me because I'm not even supposed to have nobody here. But I never said nothing to her. But until she did what she pulled that stunt that she pulled with the buying that 1 grandchild something, and you in the house with 3 grandchildren and see that I'm struggling. That girl, she only got 1 child. She only had 1 child at the time. That ain't sit right with me. So I told her, I was like, you gonna have to I gave her a time limit that she had to leave. She didn't like that, so she left right away because I told her what my father said and all that. And I brought all that up at that time. So she decided to leave then and go stay with her daughter. So that's why she jumped on the bandwagon. That, and because, like I said, it was already told to me before by several family members that she always seemed to be jealous of me ever since I was born. That's crazy to be jealous of your child, but okay, it is what it is. Um, Now let's go to this brother. After she was gone, he told it his little dirty tail along to my house. The same thing. I ain't got nowhere to go. This, that. He was supposed to have a room that he was staying in. I let him come and stay there. Same thing. Well, you got to get a job, this, that, and the other, because I'm not supposed to have nobody staying here. You got to get a job. You got to this. He was working at the stadium doing 1 day of 1 day. No, nigga, I'm talking about a real job. Where you work at least 6 days a week, making some money, enough money so you can go get a place. You're not staying with me. I don't want you to constantly stay with me. So it was excuse after excuse. I don't have ID. I don't have this. I helped him. I got all the information that he needed to get an ID. I went and did all the footwork for him, gave it to him. He didn't want to work. He didn't want to work. He was too comfortable because she made him comfortable living for free. Because he lived with her for free. Talk smack, steal from her, this, that, and the other, and he lived with her for free. She ain't say nothing. I guess she's scared of him or something. So anyway, one day he was supposed to be at work. I didn't go to work that day because I'm like, ain't no way nobody sitting up in my house while I go to work. So he would leave out every day like he going to work or going to look for work. One day I catch him. He chilling. Not at the house, but he chilling outside. He ain't trying to look for no job. I said, you know what? He ain't coming back. So a friend of mine that I was talking to at one time, one of a real close homeboy or whatever, he me and him was talking, and he was like, just don't let him, tell him he gotta go. And I was like, but that's my brother. I feel kind of bad or whatever. So he came home that night to get in, and I didn't open the door for him. And my friend got tired of him being there, so knocking on the door. So he eventually went out and said something like, "No, you can't come in here. She ain't here or whatever." So that probably was wrong on my part right there. But that was like, because I always catered to that little nigga, because that was my little brother. We was in foster care and everything together. I always been overprotective of him, but no, you trying to play me. You ain't trying to do nothing for yourself. You think you gonna live off me. You can't live off me, man. Plus, I didn't even feel comfortable with him being in there. It was like weird. He would be up in the middle of the night, tiptoeing through the house. I felt weird at night with him there. So I didn't want him there. And maybe I should have told him. I might have been wrong for that. So that's why he jumped on the bandwagon. And I guess her daughter jumped on the bandwagon because they jumped on the bandwagon, or she might have felt some type of way behind that. But I'm saying all this to say, now my father's side of the family, let's see. The only reason I can think of why my aunt Pat, her brother Graham, his wife, and my aunt Pat children jumped in the bandwagon is because one day we all went to because I used to go to her house all the time. We went to Atlantic City. Now I was waiting on some money, school money, but it was taking a long time coming or whatever. And so I didn't have no money when they was the day they was ready to go, or it came that the next day or something like that. And so all I had was food stamps. So I said, well, I'll buy the food, for the thing. I'll buy the food. So when we get down there, kind of long story short, people want to be picky. They don't want certain things. They want all this expensive stuff. They want steak. They want this. They want that. They not realizing that I still gotta eat after I leave here. My sons. I still got two sons that I gotta feed, even though they got food now that I gotta feed when I go back from this trip. So I felt some kind of way about that. Also, like I was hanging at a house. I don't mind giving you a ride. I had a car. I didn't mind giving you a ride, but I'm giving you a ride. You don't never offer no gas money. I don't feel like I should have to ask nobody for gas money. I don't care who you are, aunt, uncle, brother, sister, cousin, mother, father. I'm the type of person, if I got it, I offer. And you let that person say no or yay. You don't just get in somebody's car always expecting a ride and you don't never offer no money. I got a problem with that. So that weekend I was mad about how things went down because I'm like, all of y'all was coming up here regardless if I came or not. But everybody want to eat and be picky off of me and my food stamps. Why? You know what I'm saying? Y'all can buy your own food if that's the case. So that I feel like that's why they jumped on the bandwagon, or maybe they was just jealous. I don't know. To get the full story, you got to go ask them crazy people why they decided to jump on the bandwagon against me. But I just wanted to put them little nuggets out there for the ones that I know, as far as the family that jumped in it. My other rest of the family that jumped in it, I don't know why they got in it or whatever. Maybe jealousy, because there's always been half of them that was jealous, especially in the females. Now the males, I don't understand that, or whatever. I'm thinking maybe they got, they was you know, uh framed to do it. I don't know. I don't care. Like I said, I don't care about none of these people now. None. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have no family. As far as I'm concerned, my children and grandchildren, that's my family. Because the things that's been done and said about me, nah. For money, at that, for money, nah. I mean, some things are unforgivable, but because I'm a child of God, I have to forgive people. It's not a if and a buts about it, or maybe I have to forgive people. But my father says I gotta forgive. That don't mean that I gotta deal with you. I don't deal with none of them no more. As far as I'm concerned, my children and grandchildren, that's my family. And that's why the Lord allowed me to be so fruitful and have so many children. I would have had more children than that. I mean, because they like put my business out. So, hey, and illegally monitoring me and surveillancing me. So, I mean, hey, ain't no secret. Yes, I did. I had a couple of abortions and I had a miscarriage. I had 3 abortions and I had a miscarriage. One, I wasn't going to have the people that I got pregnant by. I got pregnant by them, my youngest daughter baby dad father, again, I was not having a baby by him when he wasn't even taking care of her. I got pregnant by my oldest boy father again, the same thing. He wasn't taking care of him. So why would I have that baby? The third one was my friend, the one that I told you didn't open the door for my brother, and that at the time he had a couple of babies on the way and thought it was cute, and I was like, nah. And plus I just had a baby. My son, my oldest boy was still a couple of months old. He was like 5 months old, so I was not trying to have another baby, and like I said, and the other one was a miscarriage, and didn't want that baby anyway either, because that baby was by somebody, and that was not a good situation. So yeah, so I'm putting that out there. So again, I told y'all, I don't try to act like don't have no sin or whatever, or that I'm perfect, that I dot every I, cross every T. No, I have a past and skeletons in my closet just like everybody else, but I ain't murder nobody. I ain't never try to harm nobody for no insurance policies or nothing else. Like I said, my problem used to be if somebody do something to me, oh, I'm gonna get you back, like petty stuff or whatever. But I ain't never try to kill nobody. I ain't never I ain't never stole nothing from nobody. You know, I ain't never teamed up with no other people to go against somebody that I share the same blood with. So they can sit back and they can paint this picture bad about me and say this and say that about me. I always try to do the right thing. I don't break no laws. I try not to break no laws anyway. I don't break no laws or none of that. So all the stuff that they said about me is lies. All the stuff they try to make up about me is lies. If anything, I just walk away from people and isolate myself and stay away from people when I feel like I can't be around them or deal with them. And I guess that's the problem. But I just wanted to put that out there. What was their issue with jumping on the bandwagon? Because, some people would say, well, why would your own family? That's why. Those are the reasons why. Again, like I said, I'm not saying that I was right for letting my friend tell my brother he couldn't come in. I should have told him. You're right. But it is what it is. It's over with. And for him to still harbor ill feelings behind that for something that he did, actually, because we had an agreement. I told you, you need to get a job. You wasn't trying to work. So you got to go. You're not going to live off me for free. I'm not your mother. Your mother's scared of you and you can live off of her, but you're not living off of me. So he got a vendetta about that. She mad because I told her she was going to have to go. I didn't tell her she had to go then, but I gave her a time limit. And she chose to leave because she got mad because I guess I gave her a time limit. I don't care. You was trying to get over too. You don't go and buy one grandchild. I don't play that about my children. If you're going to have pics, then you need to stay away from my kids. Knowing that I needed the help too. That girl had one child at the time. And to this day, she still do favoritism. That's why I tell my kids to stay away from all of them. Because the family ain't no good. Both sides ain't no good. And if my kids, and them putting my kids in this, they did that to hurt me. And because my kids don't deal with none of them like that. That's why they did that. So I'm putting out there the ones that I know for sure, that I know what their motives was of getting involved. All these extra people did it as favors and for money and whatever their other little reasons was in connections to these other people. Why that old cousin that I used to deal with and her mother and all them, they got on board, I have no idea. Maybe they believed the lies. Maybe they just, she always held some kind of vendetta or whatever the case may be. I don't know, and I don't care. What I know is I forgive all of them, and I'm done with you. That's what it is. But I just wanted this to be on media too, to let that know. So you already heard the thing with the crooked agent and all them. What happened with that? You know, that they tried to cover up. So that's why that part is happening. But these family members, I guess that's their thing or whatever, and the baby daddies, why they got involved. I don't know why the youngest daughter father got involved. Now I don't understand that part. Maybe because I always felt like they knew each other. Him and the other baby daddy knew each other. Because the youngest son father always act like he was jealous of the other baby daddy and used to call him a faggy and look what he got. He wearing a purse and showed me pictures and all that. But hey, I guess they was always, I guess they hustled around the same neighborhood, so they knew the same people and the same cult or whatever. I don't know. But that's it. Um I'm not gonna guarantee y'all that I'm gonna get back on here anytime soon because I don't really be, to be honest, I don't really be for this. And like I said, I'm in the middle of spiritual warfare, so I'll be fighting other stuff. And I'm just I keep my mind stayed on Christ. Because at the end of the day, while everybody eyes wide open and closed, I'm trying to go to heaven. So I'm focused on whatever God want me to do, keeping my relationship with Him, and getting back on my feet, which they keep trying to hinder, but they can't outdo God. God got the last say. But I just wanted that to be posted on here, you know, some of the motives behind some of these people that involved in this, and others that keep joining in is because they trying to cover up some stuff that they did. So everybody's in it for their own personal reasons. Like I said, a lot of them in it for money. They trying to help cover up stuff because they probably had a hand in it, and greed and whatever, power. It's a whole bunch of players, baby, but it ain't for me to reveal. God ain't telling me to do that. God gonna do that. But I just needed to put out there. He told me it was cool for me to put out there the family motives, the ones that I know personally, why what their thing was, why each and every one of them decided to, you know, join in the bandwagon of coming against poor Lord Octavia. But until next time, peace.